New Muslims from America and other lands by Imtiaz Ahmad Madni. Chapter 1.8. Jim. Jim and his Buddhist girlfriend's journey towards Islam. Jim was born and raised in America. Jim was a college student. He discovered Islam by interacting with the overseas Muslim students at his university campus. He related his story to me like this. Jim said, I used to go to a Christian church with my parents. My parents used to pay 10% of their income to this church in order to attend its services. Eventually, they switched to another church where they had to pay only 8% of their income to attend the services. I, however, did not like the practice of buying our seats through compulsory contribution. I stopped going to any church since I disapproved of the ideas and practices of these churches. After finishing high school, I attended a university. There I met many Muslim students from various countries. I asked them, do you have to pay for using a place for worship? They said, not at all. In fact, everybody has equal right to use the place of worship for its prayers. Jim thought it was indeed a very reasonable practice not to pay for the use of place of worship. Why should he therefore not explore other details about such religion? Jim related rest of his story to me as follows. He said, my girlfriend and I used to live in a rented apartment. My girlfriend was a Buddhist. She had put statues of Buddha throughout the apartment. Although she was not very regular in her religious practice, I was also not practicing Christianity. She inferred from my daily talk that I am looking for a new way of life. Christmas is such an occasion that everybody expects a present from his friend, irrespective of the religion, inclination, or belief. My Buddhist girlfriend rushed to the market to pick up a Christmas gift for me. There she came across a book which appeared somewhat philosophical to her. She said to herself, Jim may like this book since he is always expressing strange and novel ideas. I started reading this book after receiving it as a present. It happened to be an English interpretation of Quran. I like to read it every day. It posed many new questions in my mind. The Muslim students answered my daily questions very reasonably. It enhanced my interest in Islam. Finally, I was fully satisfied with the Muslim way of life. I contacted some members of the Muslim Student Association on my university campus. They explained to me the Islamic pledge to enter Islam. I very eagerly accepted Islam. Praise be to Allah. Alhamdulillah. I knew very well that prayer is an important article of Islamic faith. I used to offer some prayers at the university campus and others at home. I told my girlfriend to remove all the statues from the living room since I had to offer prayer there. She did not like this since it interfered with somebody's religion is not a joke. Since to interfere with somebody's religion is not a joke. She, however, reluctantly removed the statues from the living room simply to please me. As soon as my Islamic education and faith firmed up, I started showing an indifference towards her. Several times we quarreled about it. She said again and again, I have always tried my best to please you. My commitment to you is not lessened in any way. What has made you indifferent towards me in spite of my firm commitment to you? I said to her seriously, whatever you do, whatever you said is true. Whatever you said is true. I am, however, a Muslim now, and I cannot have a matrimonial relationship with a non Muslim. My girlfriend knew that I was a gentle person by nature and I have a good relationship with my fellow friends. She did not wish to leave me at any cost. She asked me, what have what have I to do to maintain this relationship? I told her that she should embrace Islam. She asked me, what is Islam? I gave her a broad outline of Islam in a short time. She could not digest all the ideas fully. She nonetheless accepted Islam in order to please me. She removed all the statues from the apartment with her own hands. After our Islamic marriage, we used to visit the local masjid. Life went on as its usual pace. The life went on at its usual pace. I found that my wife was not offering her 5 daily prayers regularly. I said to her, what kind of Muslim are you when you do not even offer your 5 daily prayers regularly? She said, I'm trying my best. I reminded her once again very firmly. She started crying and she spoke to the Muslim women of the neighborhood concerning our differences. The local Islamic leaders understood the problem between us. They deputed an educated couple to reconcile between us. They told me that my wife is a new Muslim and Islam reaches the heart and soul gradually. I should not behave very rigidly. These remarks somewhat softened my critical attitude towards her. Before embracing Islam, I used to spend considerable time with the youth of my neighborhood. Whenever we gathered, most of us would talk simultaneously without paying any attention to the other's ideas or wishes. It looked like a madhouse with everybody shouting at each other. After accepting Islam, I attended some of these gatherings. My peers were surprised to see me mostly quiet. I only talked when others were listening to me. They wondered about this big change in my etiquettes and manners. All they said was that something has happened to Jim. I got fed up with their lengthy and useless conversation, resulting in a sheer waste of time. I wished to get away from this kind of socialization. My parents and I had totally different religious thinkings too. I found it very difficult to live in this place with these pressures. I found it very difficult to live in this place under these pressures. I wished to move away from here and go to a place where I could practice the beautiful teachings of Islam with full concentration and sincerity. I therefore left my town, parents, and friends and arrived here in Detroit City. My wife stayed in our hometown to complete her university education. I have come to Detroit to my university friend, Brother Ahmad, who is the president of Indonesian and Malaysian Muslim student organization in North America. I have come here with nothing in my hand. He provided me with accommodation, meals, and clothes. That's why you see me coming to the masjid with him. I found a good spiritual climate in this masjid. I'm very happy here. Many brothers in the masjid gave Jim presents. He settled down very quickly. He started looking for a job in Detroit area. He soon found one. He told me that he had to leave this job since the owner of the business did not permit him to go to Friday prayers. This was because Jim was only a new employee. It must be mentioned that many employers in America are very cooperative with their Muslim employees and permit Muslims to attend the Friday prayers during the extended lunch break. Jim had learnt many chapters from many surahs from Quran, and his pronunciation was very good too. I asked him, "Did your Indonesian host help you with this?" Jim said, "No. In fact, there is a computer in the house with a CD with Quranic recitation. I played it again and again and learnt the Quran verses on my own." Subhanallah. One day Jim asked me if he could buy a copy of Quran with English translation from the masjid. I told him it is free for the new Muslims. He said that he wished to present a copy of Quran to his mother, hoping that she might be guided by it as he had seen the truth. He also wanted to give several copies to his old peers in his hometown. I told him that he could have as many copies of Quran as he wanted at no cost. Meanwhile, Jim came across a group of individuals who propagate Islam. This group received the new Muslim warmly. They not only provide hospitality to the new Muslim but also taught them the basic principles of Islam. Jim joined these brothers and traveled with them to various states in America for teaching and learning and propagating Islam. He visited Detroit for a night or so after several months. Thus, we had a chance to meet with him very briefly. It appeared that he had devoted his life for the service of Islam in his youth. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further enrich his knowledge and practice of Islam. May Allah also accept the devotion, commitment and service to Islam, and service to Islam. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم